What up, besties? Welcome to The Real Her, the unfiltered podcast for ambitious, funny women who want it all. Real relationships, real success, and a real life they actually love. I'm your host, Christina Fusco, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and your new hype woman in life, love, and business. Each week, we're flipping the script on traditional business podcasts and focusing on the women behind the business. We're here to laugh, we're here to cry, and most importantly, we're here to dominate together. So go ahead, pour that favorite beverage, let your hair down, and let's get ready to unlock the real her. Hey bestie, welcome back to another episode of the Real Her podcast. I'm your host, Christina Fusco, and today we need to talk about what happened after I handed that man my 10K. If you didn't hear my story from episode 1, go watch it. No one is coming to save you. If you did watch it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stepping into entrepreneurship is basically like the morning after. Hopefully, you all know what I'm talking about, but in case you don't, let's paint the picture with my favorite show, Sex in the City. Miss Carrie Bradshaw steps out for an evening in town. She's chilling at the bar. She's drinking her little Cosmo. She looks across the bar and she locks eyes with a gorgeous younger man who just looks like fun. She looks hot as hell. He looks hot as hell. She's drinking her Cosmo and she thinks, I'm going to go talk to that guy. They talk, they dance the night away, he introduces her to his friends, and they ultimately end up going home together. The vibes are high. The vibes quickly change the morning after, when Carrie wakes up in this gross apartment that doesn't even have toilet paper, and she's a grown-ass woman, so obviously she needs her toilet paper, and she thinks to herself, what the hell did I just do? What the hell did I just do? And she gathers up her pile of clothes, she finds a little bit of dignity, and she leaves and never sees that man again. That's honestly what entrepreneurship feels like. Looking back, handing over that 10K, that was the easy part, okay? I was feeling good. I was feeling inspired. I was like, my life is about to change. Hand him the money, make it happen. Then I woke up the next morning. And I thought, what the hell did I just do? I just drained my bank account. I now have a business? What the hell does that mean? And I have to actually do the things that I said I'm going to do and that I paid this man to help me do? I was panicked. I literally felt like Carrie scrambling to get my life in order, thinking, what the heck did I just do? I felt like I had no toilet paper because I had no idea what I was about to walk into. And I regretted everything immediately. I felt like I was doing my walk of shame in my own damn apartment because I had started a business that, frankly, I didn't feel qualified or ready to start. Handing over that credit card was easy, realizing that I had to be someone else starting this day because I now had a business. That was not easy. Once the scaries of the morning after started to fade, I said, all right, it's time to get to work. And so I did. I started to watch the course that I had bought into, started to learn a little bit about the industry. My first business is around midterm rentals. If you've never heard of midterm rentals, it's essentially that sweet spot between long-term rentals, which I'm sure many of you are aware of or probably are a long-term tenant to someone else. It's when you lease an apartment or live somewhere, right, that's not yours for a year plus. You've also always heard of short-term rentals, Airbnb, staying somewhere for a weekend. Many of you probably do that. Midterm rentals is that middle area where you're not living there for a year plus, but you're not just coming in for a weekend. This was in a completely new industry. I was learning about corporate housing. So when corporate clients travel for work, so maybe engineers are somewhere for a month because they're finishing up a construction project and doing all of their QA and checking. Or insurance housing, which has been my primary experience since starting this business, which is families who are ultimately displaced due to an insurance claim, a flood, a fire, right? Something goes wrong in their home. They need to stay somewhere while insurance is getting that fixed for them. So I had a completely new industry to walk into. My background was in hospitality. So I knew taking care of people, that was going to be the easy part. Making sure they came to a good experience and a good home, I had that down. I worked for 5-star luxury hotels. I felt good about that. The property management side, I also had experience in, so I felt fine with that. Someone's sink is clogged, shower won't drain, whatever. Gotcha. I can handle that. But this was different. I was always assisting and helping, never calling the shots, never running it on my own. I was the marketing department. I was the accounting firm. I was the CEO. I was the COO, the CFO. I was literally everybody and wearing all the hats. And I didn't know what to do with that. So truly, there was a major identity shift that had to happen after starting the business, because anyone can start a business. Like, if you guys are curious, literally anyone can go out there and you can go file an LLC and you can go start a business tomorrow. What we don't always talk about is the fact that you have to build a person who can run a business. You have to mentally be okay with stepping into a role like that, wearing so many hats, becoming someone you don't even recognize. And no one teaches you how to do that. Everyone will tell you, I'm going to help you start a business. I'm going to show you this. But no one's like, here's the mental guide to becoming this next version of you. Here's the mental 101 to stepping into a higher level and being a business owner. So I honestly had a 4-month panic attack after I started it, because money was just draining out. I was like, I don't even know that I'm gonna make money off of this venture. I feel like I'm just spending it left and right. Every single step of the way, there's a roadblock, right? You think things are going smooth, you're getting started, you're doing your thing, and then boom, roadblock. It's kind of like with starting this podcast. Every single time I take a step forward, boom, tech issue comes up, something I didn't anticipate. It's just like you don't know until you start, until you take action. And so if you're someone who maybe just recently stepped into entrepreneurship and you're feeling this, keep listening. If you're someone who's looking back saying, oh my God, I remember when this was me. Yeah, girl, me too. It still literally gives me PTSD to think about it. You can't possibly be prepared for what that's like. As I said in my first episode, no one's coming to save you. I don't have a boss for this business. I'm the boss. I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of, or if something goes wrong to fall back into. It is literally me, myself, and I making this ship run. The responsibility, right? Now I just put a lot of money out there, so I have to find a way to bring it back and make this thing work. The pressure. Now I've told people, I've told my family I started this business, and now they're expecting to see something from it. So now I actually have to do it. Again, shoot, right? You're thinking, okay, we have so many ideas that come and go, but now it's like, it's time to execute on this. And I feel like things really changed. I feel like people started to not understand me or what I was going through. People wanted to be supportive, but they didn't necessarily know how. And there were so many people that were supportive. And I'm so thankful that immediately from day one, I had so many cheerleaders, friends offering to come help me set up my first property. My friend and her boyfriend assembling furniture for me, and I'm bribing them with beer and pizza to make them help me. It's an amazing feeling when you do realize that while you're the person driving the ship, there's always going to be people to support you. But there's also going to be people who suddenly don't, or don't know how to support you, or don't ask the questions of how can I help, or what can I do, or what do you need, or jealousy. I hate that word, jealousy, but I even experienced that. I felt annoyed because I would always clap for everyone else when they did things. And finally, I was doing something to pull myself out of the dark place, and some people weren't going to clap for me. That's when relationships, and I'm talking romantic, I'm talking friendship, I'm talking family, things really start to change when you decide to do something different, when you decide to go on your own journey of seeing something else, of trying something new. Not everybody is going to be right on that wavelength, and that's okay. It's not up to everybody to understand what you're doing. People are really going to only hear you and meet you at with where they're at. So no matter what you're saying, no matter what you're doing, if they're not at that same level, they're just simply not going to meet you there or get it. It was a lot of battling myself, my inner workings, a lot of battling other people and what they might think. But at the end of the day, I just went for it. I just took action, and I let the rest work itself out. And honestly, if you've started a business, it's kind of a little bit ghetto. I don't think I've talked to any founder before who hasn't told me a story of, oh, I was, eating McDonald's out of my car every night, or I was, DIYing everything. So I was putting together this house. I was sleeping on an air mattress. I was eating ramen noodles. It seems so glamorous to start a business, but usually that first hump of it is crazy and you're doing the most unhinged things. I was literally driving back and forth to this property all day, every day. I was getting so many Amazon deliveries, assembling furniture by myself till God knows what hour. Light bulb out, guess who's standing on the chair, angling weird to try and change it? Me. It was the funniest thing ever. I'm like showering in this random house. I had like a little bag. I was basically living out of my car because I was just spending 24/7 trying to get this property off the ground. It is unhinged, and ask anyone who has started a business and they will tell you their horror stories or their funny stories. Hopefully some of you are reflecting right now being like, I did that. I did in fact eat mac and cheese every day for a week because it was all I had and I only had one pan to work off of. Whatever the story is, starting a business, it's a little bit gritty, it's a little bit dirty, and you have to embrace those parts. And while there's the fun, unhinged stories, there's also a lot that I wasn't prepared for. And that was the mental battle of loneliness. Again, there was no team, there was no one coming to save me or help me. So there was many times where I was just alone doing things. Again, going through all these roadblocks, it's really challenging. And when you're investing something and there's no proof of concept per se, other than, yeah, sure, you've seen other people do it and you see them doing well, but to you don't have that self-trust yet. You don't have that proof of concept yet. So you're putting all this time, energy, money, and investing in something that you have no idea is going to come back. Starting a business and running a business is about discipline. It's about consistency, and it's about continuing to move forward, whether you know what you're doing or not, because there's just simply no way to have all the pieces of the puzzle taken care of and known at the time that you're starting. Starting a business is fun. It's a little unhinged. It's very scary stepping and becoming someone that you've never been. It immediately feels lonely because even though I was in a community of people doing it, there was no one physically doing it, right? My friends, again, were being supportive, but they weren't actually going through what I was going through. And again, they didn't have anything to lose. I had everything to lose at that point, or so it felt. I was honestly thinking to myself, what is the worst scenario here? What is the absolute worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is I just lost $10,000. Does that suck? Absolutely. Is that recoverable? Of course. I could go get a second job. I had a full-time job, so I had income coming in. And if it didn't work out, I would literally just go to life as it was. So I think that was the first big lesson I learned was A, entrepreneurship is lonely. B, entrepreneurship was going to be very unhinged because now it is up to me to do whatever I need to do to make things work. And C, the worst case scenario is that my life went back to exactly how it was. Maybe you're just starting a business and you're thinking, what the hell did I do? And what am I getting myself into? Or maybe you have a business and you haven't felt it's doing as great as you want or the success that you want. Or maybe you've been teetering on it and now you're hearing this and I'm probably terrifying you and making you afraid. But I don't say these things to make you afraid. I say it to motivate you and to show you what it's actually like. You're probably going to be sleeping on floors. You're going to be having sleepless nights, but I wouldn't have it any other way because this is the first time that I started to build trust with myself. This is the first time I was building something for me and not for someone else. So yeah, it scared me that I didn't have a boss, but I knew that I was the boss and I would slowly get that confidence. But more importantly, I would ultimately get to see that success if and when it happened. Instead of having to ask my boss to take days off of work, instead of having to ask my boss anything. Ultimately, this was all going to be coming my way. And so I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't do it over differently again because it was all part of the journey of bringing me to where I am today and on this new path that I'm on. And so just begin. Realize that entrepreneurship is literally like the morning after. You're gonna panic. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like, what the hell did I just do? But you wouldn't have it any other way. And I encourage you to try it, to take the step and just go for it. Besties, all I'm saying is this life isn't for everyone. But if you're here and you are an entrepreneur, you know why it's worth it. You know why you're doing it. If you're someone who's curious, again, it's not for everybody, but we got you. The goal of this podcast is to make you feel less alone, for you to know that there's a community of like-minded women out there all doing the same things, all wanting the same dream life. So we're building it together, girls, okay? It's time to get to work. I'll see you next time on the Real Her podcast. Hey besties, I want to close out this show by saying thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. If you did, please do me a favor, hit like, subscribe, and share the episode with a friend. That way we can keep growing this movement and reach even more Real Her besties. And for your daily dose of laughs, mindset, and behind the scenes chaos, come hang out with me on Instagram at Christina_Fusco. That's Christina with a K _Fusco. All right, my ladies, until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep becoming her. XOXO, your biggest hype woman.